Ladies and gentlemen, we are back from the dead. We are super full, so we will do the best we can to not only not fall asleep, but also be bloated for this episode because we ate a lot of turkey, or Destiny ate a lot of mac and cheese. So I am the BrettMan. This is Destiny. So Destiny, how are you doing today? And how was your Thanksgiving?
It was okay. I did not eat as much as I would like to because my family made a lot of the sides with cream of chicken.
No. So was that what I saw the other day?
Yeah. After I had
No.
already eaten. So it was green bean casserole, which is like macaroni and cheese is my favorite thing, but you can eat
Hmm.
mac and cheese all year. Green bean
Of
casserole is
course.
like my favorite specialty item. And I was eating it, and I already took, like, 3 bites of it, but then I, like, looked down, and I saw, like, a cube of chicken, and I was like, "What's that?" Because
No.
I've never even heard it made with that. You always make it with cream because they're like, "What could I
No.
use instead?" Cream of mushroom. Like, I
Exact
think
like that's
everyone
what I
else
thought.
uses. And so I couldn't eat that. I couldn't eat the, like, cheese, broccoli, rice casserole either. So I ate mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, and rolls, and that's all I could eat. Oh, and,
No.
yams, but I'm not the biggest fan of those.
Yeah, but you
So,
had no
yeah,
choice with what you had to deal
yeah.
with. Oh,
My
but that's
options were limited.
crazy.
I did not get as full as I would have liked to on Thanksgiving. I felt like I couldn't really eat a whole lot.
No,
So,
God.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, we need to do a strike on that because first off, doing cream of chicken in a in a casserole like that, like not called for. Because I'm with you, you're supposed to do that with cream of mushroom. So I'm
Yeah.
really shocked.
I was
I bet you
freaking
were mortified.
bamboozled. I
Yeah.
was like, sorry. And I was like, I've been eating that. And she was like, just eat around it.
How are you supposed to
But
eat
they didn't.
around it?
Oh
Because
my
the chicken's already
God.
with the cream. Like,
They did feel
you,
bad though. They felt bad, but I felt hungry. So,
yeah, so hopefully they reward you with Starbucks or something like that. But Heather even says here, I've only heard of green bean casserole made of cream of exactly. Like,
literally, I was like, I couldn't believe it because I've never seen it made with that either. And so I thought it was fine because, like, last year it was definitely not cream of chicken. I would have noticed that. And so I was like, last year, this is not how y'all made it. Like, I know y'all didn't. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. I was like, are you serious? And my
no.
stomach did hurt a little bit, but I didn't get sick because it wasn't, anything too it was still bad. And then Brayden
Mhm.
was like, day since eating meat 0. And I was like, that's not funny. Don't say that.
Yeah, he was
That's not
busy all
funny.
day making the turkey that day. So I bet he showed every process of him making the turkey. And you're probably like, Braden, you forgot one thing about me here, dude.
Yeah, I said stop fingering the turkey.
Of course, he's going to be immature like that, but we
Yeah,
love him all the same. So
it was
let's
nasty
see.
though. I did not.
Oh,
Mm.
in a Braden kind of way. But no, I'm sorry about all that. That I can't imagine that, like, to go through that. But I'm almost close to the same boat as you. I didn't eat a lot as well, but I'm on the side of I had the stomach bug, unfortunately. So yeah, whoever gave me the stomach bug, I'm gonna come find you. So hide. So I'm not able to eat as much as I want to this Thanksgiving week. So that's unfortunate because all the food was absolutely delicious. So hopefully everybody else has had a better Thanksgiving than we had. And let's begin, everybody. Let's be thankful for the people who are showing up today. So we got Chester, what's going on? We got Yo Adrian, how you doing? We got Mud Nelson, Gavin saying, I'm hungover, but I am here. As my good Brady
Cheers.
always says, drink Pedialyte. That is the best way to cure a hangover. We got Mark Jones. We got Gory Tiger. We did say hello to Heather. So hello, Heather, again. We got Zodiac C saying good morning to us. Let's see here. We got Ashton's in the house. Who else we got here? Let's see here. Oh, we got Brother Fluffs in the house saying, my lady friend is vegan but loves Salisbury steak. Oh my God.
Is
Brother
that a
Fluff.
euphemism?
Hey, Brother Fluff. Corner. 1 minute. I'll just give you 1 minute because that was pretty good. Let's see here. We got Ben Grimm's in the house. What's going on there, Ben? We got SPC Unleashed. That is Austin. How are you doing? And Heather also, or I got the stomach bug Friday and Saturday. I am starving today. It's a pizza and a McRib day. Normally with me, what's weird about me and my mom actually, what helps our stomach bug is a McDonald's cheeseburger. We don't know why that is, but I'm probably going to make bad decisions today and give me a McRib also. And I know this is horrifying for you, Destiny, so I'm just going to end it at that.
Look, I had one bad experience with the McRib, and like like stopped eating it because of that.
Just
And
because
that's all I'll
you
say.
because you figured it out what it was. No, no, no.
No, what is it? Maybe that's
uh,
why I threw
well,
it
it's the
up.
same thing. It's the same thing with the nugget recipe. That's
Oh,
from what I heard, but apparently McRib is or McDonald's everything is fresh. Bullshit.
what the fuck ever. Even whenever I did eat meat, I stopped eating McDonald's. I was like, I'm not eating this. And especially now, I can't. Absolutely not. No.
Oh my god, Gavin, your hangover is out of control. Corner 5 minutes. God,
Oh my
mighty.
god. Everyone's going crazy.
And then Austin asked me earlier, am I excited for Corey being centered in the Scream film? Yeah, there's a meme going around saying breaking news. Since everybody's leaving Scream, they're going to include the Corey Cunningham or like the storyline in Scream 7. I'm okay with it. I think we're at a point. I know we've already talked a hell of a lot about it, so we won't go too much into it. That I think they're going to start over from scratch. But yeah, that would be funny if what's his name? Ronan Campbell, if he were in the new Scream movie. That would be funny to me. So let's see here. Okay, I think we are all good here. So let's go ahead and start the show of why we are here. And we are here to talk about the horror movie anniversaries. So we cannot talk about like every horror movie that came out in November because that would be way past the 2 hours that Destiny did indeed agree to do this show with. So anything after 2 hours is an extra $10. And with the Christmas season being around, I cannot avoid it. Cannot have that happen right now. So we're going to do everything in the integrals of 5. So anything ending in 3 and 8 is going to be talked about, along with the inclusion of last year's horror movies with the year 2022. And yes, Heather, Destiny, I know you're not a wrestling fan, but Best in the World is back. He made his way home to WWE yesterday, so I'm still have a little bit of a hangover of that just because of how excited I am. But no, Heather, CM Punk over Randy Orton. We're going to have problems, so behave yourself. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And I actually have 2 movies way, 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 way back from 33 and 43. So let's go ahead and cover those real quick. With The Invisible Man, the classic Universal monster, The Invisible Man, released on November the 13th of 1933. You can rent this right now for $4 on Vudu and YouTube. And for according to these numbers, it seems like you really do need to do that. I need to do it myself. And then another movie, 1943, is The Son of Dracula. This is on Tubi if you're a fan within the Dracula kind of like franchise, like the mini franchise of Dracula. It's there for you. So, Destiny, have you seen either of these 2 movies? Or if not, would you be interested in seeing any of them?
Yeah, I have not seen either of them. I did watch the kill count for The Invisible Man, though. But I want to watch them eventually. I know we talk about this almost every time we talk about Universal monsters, but I'm very much not. I've seen Frankenstein, and now I've seen Bride of Frankenstein. So, but
Nice.
I think that might be it for all the like sort of classics.
And how'd you like
Eventually, I'll
those
do
2
one.
movies? Because I recently watched those for the tournament that I did back in October, and I saw you watched them too. So what did you think about them?
I mean, I saw Frankenstein in high school because we read the book for one of
Mhm.
my classes. And then I really enjoyed Bride of Frankenstein. I knew going into it that she wasn't in it a lot, and so had I not known that, I it would have been disappointing. But
Mhm.
I did enjoy it very much. I think The Bride of Frankenstein, it's like how I kind of feel about Chucky in a way. When you have Tiffany, like I don't really care about Chucky, and when you have The Bride of Frankenstein, I don't really care about Frankenstein because I'm focused on them. So I wish he was in it more, but
Mhm.
that's fine.
Yeah, and I was on the opposite end. I had no idea she was not going to be in the movie that long, so that disappointed the hell out of me. I was like, okay, here we go. We're about to get like in the 4.5 star territory. But where's the Bride of Frankenstein? If in like those last like 10 minutes or so, she finally got on screen. I'm like, this. First off, this is bullshit because she looks phenomenal. She was doing a great job with the time that she was given. But like, I was so pissed off. I was like, that's it. Star down. We're just doing 4 out of 5. Fuck this. Even though it was definitely better than the original Frankenstein, I will give it that. That Bride is better than Franklin.
Yeah, I think I would agree to that. I think I also gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. And like I said, if she was in it more, it would have been higher. But I also think it's just because, like, when you watch, like, Bride of Chucky, she's in it so much. Whether it's, like, Tiffany as a person or Tiffany as a doll, like, she's in it so much.
Hmm.
And a lot of these movies are so, like, center focused, and she's really not until the end, which is pretty crazy. But I do really enjoy the ending. It comes very fast because she's on
Hmm.
screen and then all of a sudden
She's not.
the movie's over. But I really do like that last bit of the movie and the way it ends and stuff. And like Frankenstein's like line is really good. So I did enjoy it. It just could have used a lot more of her, but
Hmm.
I liked it enough.
Yeah, and I kind of like I agree with you, like with Bride of Chucky, which is kind of funny, though, that Bride of Chucky did indeed show the footage or played the movie of Bride of Frankenstein. So it was kind of a nice like dynamic of like what Bride of Frankenstein could have been if they kind of follow a similar format with Bride of Chucky. But I still enjoyed it, though. But Heather says here, The Invisible Man is one of my favorite Universal monster movies. Love that one and The Wolf Man. I'm definitely going to get to the both of those here eventually. I just got to get through the Christmas season first with a particular project we are working on. But after that, I plan on finishing out the rest of the Universal monster movies.
I did start The Wolfman in October. I didn't finish it because I was at work and we're kind of slow, so I just kind of started it. And then we got busy, so I turned it off and I just have to get back to it. But I did start that one because I
Hmm.
do want to work my way through them. They're just like, I want to watch them for like the respect aspect.
Right. So I'm the same way.
They're just not, even though I haven't really seen much, it's just, there's like a certain cutoff point for me to where like I'm like, oh, I don't really know if I like this style of movies because like the movies were so different back then. And they're very,
Hmm.
if anyone watches pretty much it, Eric and one of his like special guests, they just went through like all the like the main like I guess 8 Universal like so none of the spin-offs, just like, the first 8 movies, and they just went through all of them, but they're all the same. They're all very formulaic, and like now knowing that, it's kind of cuz like it always will end the same.
Hmm.
Usually the bad guy like will die. Going through these movies, it happens in every single one. It all like plays out the exact same way. So it is. I don't want to watch them back to back because I know I will get tired of it because it's just the same thing, just
Yeah,
a
kind of
different
like save
monster.
it one a day or something, or like
Yeah,
once a week or something like that. No, I agree with you on that, and I'm a big agreement on just watch it out of the respect because, like the horror genre came from somewhere. It was like the first major step of the horror genre was this era of the Universal monsters. So that's why I at least wanted to give the shout out to both of those movies before we continue on.
yeah. For horror, and even just like Universal itself, like whenever we were going on like the tour, they were like explaining that, and they're going through like the Universal monsters and how much like these movies were kind of like the foundation for like
Hmm.
Universal. And that's so crazy to think that was like horror movies is like what really started all like kept them in business and like big business. And then it
Hmm.
changed, and now it's kind of like going back to where I mean everything's more marketable, but now again like horror is making a lot of money. So
Oh yeah.
pretty crazy.
And they also still like use like Frankenstein, and like after all these years, they're still relevant. Like the Frankenstein's, the Draculas, and everyone like that, and they're still making movies based off them. Because again, with the recent success, or should have been success, 2020's The Invisible Man, just that because again, that's just a big old homage to the Invisible Man from 33, but they modernized it and even added a very good underrated storyline to it with the main lead. But yeah, it's just like they still go today, and there's some rumors too that the Wolfman with Ryan Gosling is potentially still there, which I think Ryan Gosling could pull off a good Wolfman. So I'm looking forward to see what they do in the future to make like the Frankensteins, the Draculas, all of those Universal monsters relevant.
Yeah, I really enjoyed The Invisible Man. It just came out at such a shit time
Mm-hmm.
because it's like right when COVID was happening. It was like one of the last movies in theaters, and so it came out at like a really bad time, but it was so good. And like you said, taking the story but making it modern for today was
Mm-hmm.
such like a smart way that they did it. And I would love to see the rest of them get this treatment
That
because
treatment.
it'd just be so cool to have like a resurgence of like, because like of course every like movie that we get comes from them almost like every like vampire movie we get it comes
Right.
from like Dracula and like all this further back, but to get like actual universal like titles revamped would be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely they
Frankenstein
would
though,
be.
there's been so many Frankensteins, like I'm not super, we're getting the Emma Stone movie, like I only saw the
Yeah, that's a
trailer for
version of it.
Poor Little Things or something like that. I had no
Yes, thank
idea
you, because
until,
I want to watch that in theater. So thank you for reminding me of that.
yeah, Braden and I were watching Saw 10 and I hadn't even seen the trailer. And so we're watching the trailer and I was like, "Oh my god, this is Frankenstein. That's so cool." And there's supposed to be a what isn't there like something with Mia Goth coming out too? Isn't there
Uh,
supposed to be like another type of like
I
movie with Mia Goth at
cannot
some point?
I cannot remember, but I know like the big one that's coming out next year is Nosferatu. It's getting a revamp
Yeah.
by Robert Eggers, and unfortunately, the early reviews are not that great. But I'm still hoping now that it's still going to be a good movie. But they're starting to release like little photos of it, and to me, it looks good. But the Mia Goth one you mentioned, I'm not sure which particular movie that is. But you know me, I'm just excited for Mia Goth and Maxine next year.
Me too.
And
I'd love
where's
to
the
see the trailer.
trailer? Where's
Yeah.
the fucking trailer? That's all I
Or
gotta ask at this
something,
point.
please.
So let me say hello. We got some new people into the chat. Want to make sure they don't get lonely here. We got Lamantra. What's going on? We got Sebastian. What's going on? And we also got Armando. What's going on there, Armando? Heller. Uh, there you go. And Desi, any other thoughts about those two movies?
Nope.
All right. And so before I go into the 70s, did you have anything else like below the 70s?
No.
Okay. So we are going on to 78. I only found one, and that is I Spit on Your Grave. The original came out on November the 22nd of 78. And I'm kind of curious to get your thoughts on this, Destiny, because this is one of those movies for me. And I know I've seen all kinds of horror movies that kind of deal with the word rape. That's the only time I'm going to say because I really hate saying that word, but that's what this kind of movie deals with, and it's kind of like that word, like revenge story. And I've seen plenty of them, but this is a particular movie where like I have been avoiding this movie because of that very reason. Because I feel like this was the movie that kind of almost started that whole particular genre of horror. So I wanted to get your thoughts. Like, have you seen this movie? And if not, is that the reason for not watching this movie, or you just haven't around to have time to watch it?
I've seen like half of I Spit on Your Grave, and I've seen like almost what I'm assuming is just like all the worst parts because I was like 15 or 16 and I was on YouTube and I found the movie on there and I was like, oh, and I have already seen the remake because I saw that around the time like when it came out, whenever it was like on DVD,
Mm-hmm.
because we had that DVD at my mom's house. And so I'd seen that movie. And so like going into it, I already knew like what kind of movie it was, but even though like the remake is really rough, this one, because because like there's always just there's already something like more authentic, I think, about like 70s movies and like 80s movies, like as it is, because it's not polished and clean, and it's
Mm-hmm.
gritty and it's nasty. And so like adding that onto like everything in the scenes, like everything that's taking place, it feels like 10 times worse than the remake. And so I was watching it and it kept going and going and going
Uh,
and going. And I was like, okay, I think that's enough for me. And so I turned it off. So I seen the worst parts, and I want to go back and not, I don't know if I want to sit there and rewatch all of that, but I would
mhm.
like to see the last half of the movie. Like I turned
To
it off
see her
because
kick ass.
yes, like I want to see her get her revenge, and like she deserves that. Like I want to see all that happen. So I do want to go back and finish it. I've already seen, I don't, and like whatever other bad parts I miss, like I'm fine. I get it. Don't need to see the rest of it. So
Mm-hmm.
like it's not like the first, I mean, there's been other movies, especially like in the 60s with like this sort of like topics and stuff. Cause I was watching like that documentary about like folk horror. And so there's like some of that in like in those type of movies as well. But this was like the first sort of like one, I guess, to start like its own like subgenre.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we also had The Last
Oh,
House on the Left.
yes, I was just thinking about that. I was like, damn, I fucked up because technically that was the birth of that particular genre. But I also felt like I Spit It on Your Grave kind of like enhanced it, like even like kind of like took it another step.
Because in the original Last House on the Left, it's not the girls getting the revenge, it's the parents.
Right.
And so like it's still the same thing, but this one feels different because it's like her doing it like herself, like
Mm-hmm.
taking over for, and like I know most of the kills and like how it plays out and stuff, but I do want to go and like finish the rest of the movie. I just won't like rewatch it. And like if like I get it if people don't watch them, because these like I've seen a good amount of these type of films. They're not my favorite, and they're not go tos, and they're not like easy watches. Like
Mm-hmm.
no matter what, because it like it's just awful. But the revenge part of the movies, it always is just like yes, like in the movie Revenge, like that movie,
Oh my god, what a roller
it,
coaster
like
that movie was.
because she is so like everything that she goes through and like the end is so good. So they're not my favorite movies, but I will watch them depending on how bad it is, cuz some of
Right.
them like Revenge, it doesn't linger. It's
Mm-hmm.
very fast, thank God. But then you have movies like this where it's like literally feels like 30 minutes of like nonstop, and that's just a
Mm-hmm.
lot, and that's really hard. So yeah, I think it's case by case for me with these type of movies, but you know, I feel like it has its place.
Yeah, especially like in the 70s. But I feel like if you're going to do it, that's the appropriate time. Because I always always give the opinion about the 70s were the time where like they didn't give a fuck about anything like being offensive or hurting your, trying not to hurt your feelings. Like this, the 70s, I always respect because they really go for any kind of topic. Like, The Exorcist, like, dealing with religion. I Spit on Your Grave, dealing with what we have been talking about. Or, Black Christmas talking about like house invasion and how like fucked up like those phone calls were, like because that is a potential thing to happen and all that. So I always give the 70s like credit for being just kind of like what Gavin said it best, really. 70s exploitation films were just so grimy and fucked up, but I kind of enjoy it. That era will never be replaced or replicated. It damn right it will never be, just because with the time that we're in now. But yeah, I definitely agree. We have to appreciate the 70s for what it did in its time for the horror genre.
Yeah, they're very dark times, and cameras were different, and so like everything seemed more real, and there wasn't like all these crazy things we have now to like film and stuff, and these were like usually shot in like real places, like real houses, and so everything there's just, and people look like people. Not everyone
Exactly.
looks super polished, and like they didn't look like movie stars and stuff, and so like that is what makes it feel real. And a lot of times these people in these movies, they weren't like well-known people either, and so that
Hmm.
again helps add to that this feels real. So yeah, it won't ever be replicated. Same thing with like 80s slashers, which we get movies that are like 80s slashers,
Well,
but
we're about
if
to
they
get into
aren't
that. So.
80s slashers, it's just you can't replicate the time that they come from
Mm-hmm.
because it's just everything's different. Everything looks different. Everything's too clean, too pretty.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and like it's also too like within each like decade of horror, I don't think can ever be replicated. Like the 2000s being the remake era, like I don't think like that's yeah sure that could still be replicated, but not as like the style the way that the
No, it
2000s
won't be
offered.
that style because it's 2000s. Like it's so of its
Exactly.
time. But I love when movies like are of its time. And like some movies are timeless. Well, people say like Halloween is timeless, and in a way it is, but it also in a way it's very much of its time. Like it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It has problems. It has flaws. Doesn't make it bad or anything, but you can still tell it's of its time. But that's
Right.
what I like about this movies because it's like, yes, this is a 70s movie. I love
Yeah.
that.
Exactly. And Sebastian said closest thing to that I think is Terrifier. Yeah, I can easily say that Terrifier is a 70s style movie but more modern. So that's actually a good comparison there, Sebastian.
Yeah, I was thinking Terrifier. Definitely the first one. Not so much the second one. The second one is definitely like
More
bigger
modern.
and you can
Yeah.
feel that, which I love that it is. But the first Terrifier, it feels very much like the very small budget I think really worked in its favor for that movie because they had to work with what little they had and what came out of it
Hmm.
was insane. So
God. Yeah, especially the girl that got hung upside down. From the Talk Scary to Me podcast, they interviewed her about that whole situation, the working conditions. Very 70s. Let's just go ahead and just leave that. It was very 70s. So good point there, Sebastian. So, Desi, anything else you wanted to address with this movie?
no.
All right. And I had a comment here from earlier, Ben Grimm, saying that Lisa Frankenstein from Diablo Cody 2, which, yeah, that's going to be that Thanksgiving, or not Thanksgiving, we just did that. Valentine's Day movie that's coming out next year.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, and I think that has real potential of being really good. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward mainly to go by myself to go see it. But so so I would be the weirdo in the theater if that's just by himself with every couple there. I'm like, hey,
Maybe
how y'all
don't touch
doing?
your arms. That probably won't help.
Okay. I'll duly noted. So anything that's it I found from the 70s. Did you find anything else from the 70s?
I found one movie from 73,
Okay, go for it.
Torso, which I've seen. And then I went to go watch it, and I thought it was my first time watching it. And then while I was watching it, I was like, I definitely seen this movie, and I watched it this year. So I tried to rewatch it, thinking I hadn't seen it. But Torso, even though I've almost watched it twice, I don't really remember much of the movie itself, except it is like it's like an Italian movie, so it's very
Hmm.
grimy and it's 70s, so it's very sleazy. I do remember that. And then from 78, I have Faces of Death, which Armando had mentioned as well. I'd seen the poster for it, but I haven't seen the movie itself, so I don't really know too much about it, but I've seen the poster. And then also from 78, I have the movie Magic, which is like a puppet. Again, I haven't seen it, but it was just on like Peacock or something. Because I was like trying to find a movie to watch and I saw the poster for it. So I added it to like my watch list. But I haven't seen
Nice.
either of them, but I thought I'd mention them because I've seen the posters for both. So they're somewhere
Hey,
up
and you
here.
know what? If a poster could do that for you, guess what? It did its job. So, I'll go ahead and throw a little spoiler out there real quick for the Real Horror Awards. We did add Best Poster category because exactly what Destiny was mentioning. That she remembers the poster. If you remember the poster, the marketing department did their job. So me and Brad thought, why not recognize that? So that will be a category next year. And yeah, more on that particular show coming up next month on the more of the good real side of things. But this is its own separate thing. I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. And Gavin also says Torso fucking rules. One of Sergio Martino's best films. Hopefully, I pronounced that right.
I thought Gavin would appreciate Torso.
Yeah, and, like, I could feel like Gavin is definitely an Italian horror fan, like, Italian slashers and all that, like Tenebrae and all that. So, hell yeah, Gavin. So let's see here. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into some 80s fun that you kind of referenced to earlier. So let's go ahead and go with the first one here from 1983. This is The Beyond. I was going to try to watch this over the weekend, but unfortunately, again, had to deal with sickness and doing stuff for the Good Real Hunting channel. So I did not get time to watch this. So, Destiny, have you had time to watch this? And if so, what did you think about it?
I have seen this. I had watched it for the last drive-in, and I'm trying to remember when that was, because I cannot remember if that was from this year. But I know I watched it for the last drive-in, for sure.
Oh, nice. I would probably say it was like before, about the time you got me involved, like one of the earlier seasons.
I'm
Uh,
looking. But I definitely
and
remember watching it. I don't remember the movie too much, but I do remember watching it for the last drive-in.
do you remember enjoying it, or is it just so long a while back ago you can't remember?
I think I gave it 3 stars. Not my favorite, but not bad.
Gotcha. And that's not bad. A 3 out of 5 for a horror movie. That's not bad at all. That's just like, hey, it's good, but I'll see if I can revisit it in the future. Oh, and Aaron Click, I'm sorry, my friend. Hello, Aaron Click. How are you doing? Better late than never, man. So let's see here.
Okay, yeah. It
Oh,
was
go for it.
shown this year on the last drive-in. Because I think I had already seen it before, and then this is the episode whenever this was on in April. So this
Oh,
is the
okay.
episodes that I made Brayden watch because I remember because there's a lot of spiders in it. And
Yes.
I think this is the movie with the spider that rips out a tongue. I'm almost positive because the
Oh,
first
what the
movie was
fuck?
Zombie, and I think the second movie it was The Beyond.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that. I just didn't get a chance to watch it.
And if it wasn't, it was that weekend. I do remember that. I just remember it being, yeah, not my favorite. But I did make Brayden watch it regardless. So I do know that.
Just so you can fuck with his fear of spiders. You evil person, you.
I know.
Gavin says, talking about Italian, the Beyond is another one that rules. Lucio Fulci in his prime. Am I becoming Italian? I feel like I'm nailing these right now. So give me another Italian name, chat, so I can see if I could keep pronouncing Italian words. Uh, be so proud of myself. But anything else with the Beyond Air Destiny?
Nope. I just know I have seen it.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get onto your big main event, one of your top 10 movies, horror movies of all time. Let's go ahead and do it. Big 40-year anniversary. Sleepaway Camp that was released on November the 18th of 1983. If you have not seen this campy film, pun intended, it is on Peacock and Tubi right now. Highly suggest you all check this out, especially with the big twist ending. Just in case, just because I love the twist ending so much, we're not gonna go into it just because I feel like most of you have already seen it. But just in case if that one person has not, I want you all to go in blind because I did see somebody on Killerflix have watched it for the very first time, and I immediately replied to him going, "What did you think about the ending?" Like just trying to get all that. So that's all I have for it. I love this movie. So Destiny, this is your movie. Take it away.
Yes, this is one of my all-time favorite horror movies, and the first time I had seen anything about it was for the kill count. So I did like spoil it for myself because I was like, oh, I had never heard of this. And he even says like if you haven't seen it, like watch it for yourself. And I was like, whatever, I'm watching the video. Because I think I was like washing dishes. I was like, I'm washing my dishes. I'm gonna watch this video. And I was watching it. I was like, okay, I have got to watch this movie. And so I did watch it, and I was like, that is exactly because I think I was having like I was having a bad day. I remember that. I was like, I need something like a good laugh. And so I put on Sleepaway Camp, and it was exactly what I needed. And I just fell in love with it. And then Felissa Rose is just wonderful.
Mhm.
And that really helps add on to the love of that because she loves it so much. And the movie, it's so cheesy and it's so silly. I love making people watch it. Um, yeah, I think it's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's bad, but it's wonderful. Like it's the perfect bad movie because everyone takes it so seriously, and that's what makes
Mhm.
it work so well. Is they are playing it so straightforward that it's just like ridiculous, but it's a great time.
Yeah, I remember watching it for the first time ever and being so mind fucked with the ending. Like, what the fuck did I just watch? So the very next day, I called my best friend and said, "Hey, do you want to watch a movie?" And he came over and I played that fucking movie just so I could get his reaction, just to make sure that it's the same as mine. And he reacted the same way too. So you're right about that. It is a hilarious, fun movie to watch or to show somebody that's never watched it before, just so you can get that kind of like reaction or like film somebody's reaction to like what the fuck did they just saw.
Yeah, the last time I showed it to someone, they did not like they kind of guessed it by the opening. They're like, "Oh, I thought that person died," and I was like, "No, really not." Just trying to like not give anything away. I was like, "Are you fucking blind? Like, come on now." Just being like super aggressive about it too. And just for the end to be like, "Mhm, I lied."
Sebastian says, by now I feel like Brett is best friends with Felissa Rose. I wish I was, and I love that woman to death, but I am not nearly as close as this one over here who loves Felissa Rose. I'm not on that level, but I do love my girl Felissa Rose, and I did meet her like for the fifth time or so this year, and I got her to sign this VHS sleepaway camp. And I know Destiny has hers too, but I know it's somewhere stored away. So let's see here.
Yeah, it's over there.
Yeah, it's somewhere it's somewhere over there. So we both are heart like we love Felissa Rose. She's just the most absolute sweetheart in the horror community. So if y'all get a chance to meet Felissa, highly suggest it. And plus she is so affordable too. So like everything about her is perfect.
Yes, definitely meet her. She's so nice. She was the first person I met because I wanted it to be her.
Oh, that's
Like, as soon as
awesome.
I saw her, she was coming to the convention, like, I made sure she was the first person I met because I knew, like, this is gonna be the best experience, and it was. She was
Oh,
wonderful.
hell yeah. And I was trying to do it for mine too, just because again, I was a nervous wreck that day meeting her because mainly I had the VHS tape and all I wanted is just to make sure I made her in time and have her sign in, but everything go perfect. But Brad's like, no, man, we gotta go meet CJ Graham first. I'm like, motherfucker, like what? No, she's over there. No, dude, CJ Graham, let's go. So we met CJ Graham was the first person I ever met. Then Felissa Rose was the second. So I'm a little still pissed off that she wasn't my first two. But you know, again, I met her. She was wonderful. Like just one of the most beautiful people to ever talk to. So let's see here. Oh, here we go. They are testing my Italian here. So where are those comments? Gavin says this one. La ragazza che sapeva turbi. Not even close. Fuck. So yeah, Gavin got me. I could at least do this one. That's Ave Maria from the Christmas song. So I know that one. And then Mangala Chuchi. I know I mispronounced that wrong. So okay, you all got me. My Italian sucks. So Destiny, anything else with Sleepaway Camp?
Nope, it's wonderful.
Awesome. And Zodiac, I know you WWE mind. That is Satino Malela. So there we go. So moving on from my horrible Italian, we are going to go. Anything else from 1983?
I have Amity 3D,
Oh
haven't seen
gosh.
it. And then I have Cannibal Ferox, which I have not seen that as well, but it is one of those like Cannibal Holocaust, Green Inferno, like type-ish movies. So it's like one of
Hmm.
those. So I have not seen it. Don't really have an interest in seeing it, but I thought I would mention it.
And I do not blame you for that. But yes, the point of this show is to give those movies recognition, just in case if somebody's in the chat like, "Huh, that sounds interesting. Let's watch it." So definitely awesome. But I'm with you. Any kind of cannibal Holocaust type movie, I'm going to avoid personally because I feel like I can't do those movies. Even though I did get through Green Inferno, and that was experience.
I've seen Cannibal Holocaust. I think I'm like good. I think I'm good on those. I'll watch Green Inferno. I just haven't yet. I will watch that one, but
Mhm.
the older type ones, I've seen Cannibal Holocaust. I've done my diligence. I don't need to watch anymore.
Like I watched a documentary of it, like on the Shutter show, like it's like the Curse films, and I did watch that episode of that, and I felt like that's close enough for me. So I'm not going to actually watch. God, I gotta quit doing the thumbs up thing. So we're gonna move on. Was that it for 83?
Yes.
Excellent. Oh, and Heather says real quick, Destiny. Amityville 3D was bonkers. I don't remember it much though. I remember the fourth one because it was a cruise or a cursed lamp. Interesting.
Interesting. I've only seen the first and the remake. I do want to watch the second one because I've heard the second one's good.
Yeah, I think the second one, I saw a review that Drum Dums did, and he really liked it. So it's definitely on my watch too. And damn right, we're gonna make Brad watch Green Inferno against his will, and also Hack a Lantern because he still owes me a Hack a Lantern watch party for losing a bet. So we gotta get that son of a bitch. Brooke, what's going on there, Brooke? How are you doing?
Hi, Brooke.
So, all right, and that was it for 83, correct?
Yes.
Excellent. So let's go ahead and go to 88. I got two big blockbusters, some very beloved films from 88. And we'll go ahead and start with the first one because I know you and Braden watched this one recently, and that is They Lived. Came out on November the 4th of 1988. It is to rent right now for $4, and I would say, according to these numbers, very well worth the rent. And I remember only seen this movie once. And two things I remember. I came here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum. And pretty much the longest fight scene in the history of horror movies, in that parking lot brawl. Other than that, I remember it just being good. I definitely need to give it a rewatch so it could just refresh in my mind if I could actually like it better than I did the first time. So, Destiny, what about you, Vo? You watched this recently. What are your thoughts about They Live?
I did enjoy it. Definitely not my favorite John Carpenter film, and I gave it 3.5 out of 5. So like I did enjoy it enough. Um, Braden enjoyed it more than I did. He like
I
loved
did
it, and
saw
I was just
that.
like, all right, it's good. Yeah, all right. The ending is very rushed. It happens just like that, and it's done. And I was like, oh, okay. I that's also when we watched it. I think it was in October because it was on Peacock. And every
Yeah,
time it's been on Peacock, I always miss it, and I'm always like, I'm gonna watch it. Never do. This time I was like, I'm going to watch it for sure. And then I had Braden watch it as well. But I did enjoy it. And it's a movie I want to buy. They have it like on sale now, and it was on sale like for like $10. And I should have bought it, and I didn't.
I would check tomorrow because tomorrow is Cyber Monday and they usually do good DVD deals. So I would keep a close eye out on Amazon tomorrow. Especially, I think They Live has a Steelbook release because I think Matt Fauci got a copy of They Live on Steelbook.
Don't tell me that.
I'm sorry. I'm a bad influence, ladies and gentlemen. And Mark Jones says he agrees with Braden. Like, he really, really loved They Lived. And oh, Mega, what's going on there, Mega? How are you doing? Carpenter's second best film. Nice. Like, see, I don't remember as much to like I put it that high, but again, I would love to rewatch it again to see if I actually do indeed move it up. So let's see here. And oh, are you still Amazon shopping?
No.
Oh, I thought you were. I was just like, oh, she's getting ready to hit the buy button here in a minute. But so, Let's see here. No, I think we are all caught up. Oh, here we go. Brooke says The Fog is my second favorite of Carpenter. Hell yeah, Brooke. The Fog is an excellent choice.
I think my favorite second one is probably Christine.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Mine's like Christine, like really shot up there with the recent rewatch I did in October, and we will have plenty of Christine talk next month for when it celebrates its big anniversary.
I think I'd go Halloween Christine, The Thing.
Oh shit! Here we go. Brett and Destiny, my cat just sat with me to watch y'all. He doesn't do that with anyone else. Fuck yeah, we're special people there, Destiny.
I love cats a lot.
Armando, what color cat is it? Because I'm a fan of the orange cat. So, what kind of cat is it? And yeah, Ashton loves Christine. Again, we will get to Christine next month. And Chester says They Live is one of my favorite sci-fi movies. Great score and best fight scene. I come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Have you at least heard of that quote before you watched this movie?
Yes.
Oh yeah, because of course, hell yeah, like it's oh my gosh, his name is Michael Meowers, and he is an orange cat. I need to adopt that cat immediately.
That is so cute.
Yeah, because A is Michael Meowers, and second, I'm a fan. Orange cats are my favorite, so I need it.
Michael Meowers.
So, okay, for specialties reasons, so today's hashtag is Michael Meowers in the chat. So there you go. And Gavin says Sarah Beth loves cats. Spread the rumor. We definitely
could you spread rumors about me.
Oh my!
That one's true.
That's right. I forgot you're Sarah Beth.
I'm Sarah
Beth. There you go. So, anything else about They Live?
No, it's a fun movie. It's a good watch.
I agree with that. It's definitely a good watch, but I need a revisit on. So with that one, I did not do a thumbs up. StreamYard, shut up. So next up is Child's Play, released on November the 9th. So you're kidding me. You tell me we got They Live one week, and the next week we had Child's Play. What a freaking back-to-back banger in the theater experience that was. But we do got the Chuck, because we all know you don't fuck with the Chuck, but this is where it all began with the original Child's Play movie. So Destiny, what do you think about the original Child's Play?
I love the original Child's Play. It's my second favorite of the franchise.
Nice.
And it's definitely, but Bride of Chucky's my first. And besides that one, as a kid, this is the one I watched the most. And like, I was watching this when I was like 4 or 5 years old. Like, I love Child's Play. And so, I think it's great. It's a great, like, because like, when you know who Chucky is, like, I already knew who Chucky was whenever I was like watching these movies, so it's not like a mystery, but trying to like put that aside and watch this like as like a first time movie, it is a mystery for a while, which I really like, until you finally see him as like the doll walking around and moving around. And I think that's so smart, because you're like, oh my god, is it actually this little boy or what? It's not the little boy, but it still could be. Is it him? I don't know. It's not. It's this freaking doll. And I love the ending when, the no batteries and the head spins around, and finally whenever he starts going off on her, it's just so crazy.
Do you remember the dialogue by any chance?
It's like, you stupid, you like,
stupid bitch, you filthy slut. Yeah. I'll teach you not to fuck with me.
Yeah, he's just going crazy on her. Great. It has Chris Sarandon in it, so you can't go wrong with that as well. I love it. I think it's great.
Oh, Gavin says I'm a Child's Play 3 type of gal. So hell, dude, Child's Play 3 is definitely underrated. Uh-oh. Not a big fan of the prison setting?
No, Child's Play 3 is my like second to last favorite, I think. But my least favorite is the remake.
I'm going to behave. No, I'm not going to behave. So anyways, guys, no, I'm just kidding. But no, we will definitely have that topic next year when we cover 2019 and anything with 9 and 4 next year. So we're going to get to that discussion to the bottom of it next year. But I'm going to let you have it this time around. But the original Child's Play is a very good movie. I remember watching it for the first, well, not the first time recently, but when I did watch it for the first time, I had so much fun with it. And then when I watched a documentary on how the movie was made, and then watching it afterwards, I could not see like the little like stunt double like walking across the screen and all that. I'm like, fuck. And of course, we get one of the best fuck lines in horror movie history too. What an ugly doll. Fuck you. Like, it's just great. Like, just one of the best personalities of all time. And Brad Dourif, let's give major props to that man because he brought just a freaking doll to life. And I feel like at the time too that they didn't really know what they had with Chucky. So that's why I like the first one. It's like really good. But then when we get into Child's Play 2, when they actually know, okay, people love this little doll, this killer doll. So let's give them more of that. So that's why Child's Play 2 is my main favorite within the franchise. But definitely I've got more appreciation for the first one by the more times I do watch it with great performances. And Destiny, I'll go ahead and admit, I'm back on the train where I like the original more than the remakes. So there you go. I am now like the original more. But overall, I thought it's a really good movie and definitely a high staple within the late 80s of the horror genre.
I agree.
So, all right, let's see here. I'm just a silly little girl sometimes.
Me
There
too,
you go.
Kevin. Me too.
All right, let's see here. Anything else? I'm just checking the chat real quick. And Zodiac says Bride in the original top 2 for me, and that's a very strong top 2. Again, my top 2 is Child's Play 2 and Bride of Chucky. Those two actually get swapped every now and then. It's just depending on what I'm in the mood for. And I believe that is it for the moment. So, Destiny, did you have anything else from 1988?
I have 2 movies. One is Amsterdam, which was shown on the last drive-in.
Yes.
So that was another one. They did Sharknado and then Amsterdam. And that was another one I made Brayden watch with me. And that was pretty fun. I had never heard of Amsterdam before. And it was actually pretty interesting because it's a slasher movie, but it takes place in Amsterdam. And it's like in these like waterways, and that's where like the killer is coming from, is from the water. And so you're like, oh, what is this? Is this like a creature? Is this a person? Like, what is this? There's crazy like boat sequences, like the stunts were great in this movie. It was so surprising. So it is like a fun, not your typical like slasher, and it's one like, I feel like I've never heard of anyone talk about until I watched it on the last drive-in. So I do recommend that one. And then the last movie I haven't seen, but it is The Brain. It looks like a bonkers, just 80s, like body horror alien type movie. So I might watch it at some point.
Hell yeah. And with Amsterdam, I do remember that one because that's actually, I think, one of the 2 episodes that I actually did watch of Joe Bob. I'm going to try to be a lot better Joe Bob fan next year and watch more of them. Just a very busy year for me, for unfortunately on Fridays when the last drive-in comes on. But I do remember watching Sharknado and half of Amsterdam, but fortunately I fell asleep because it's Eastern Standard Time over here. So it was like 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning where those movies end. So I fell asleep. But the parts I do remember about Amsterdam, I love the score and I love the setting. I love the killer. Like you said, how they hide in the water. I thought that was an amazing aspect. And of course, they did the Michael Myers heavy breathing shot too at the beginning of the movie, and that got me like, oh, okay, I'm so in on this movie. So I'm definitely going to put on Amsterdam again when I'm more awake. But I did remember loving the parts that I did remember watching.
Yeah, it was very fun, very just different. I did like it though.
Oh yeah. And Armando, yes, I did watch it, and I actually do a podcast called WHP for Wrestling Horror Podcast. So if you want to listen to my review on that pay-per-view, be sure to listen on Spotify and Apple Pod, and you can do it from there and the YouTube channel. Just want to get that. And yes, Heather, more than anybody in this world, she loves Sharknado, and she was so nice to me, giving me the first three Sharknados. And I still have them proudly displayed on my shelf over there. So Heather, thank you so much for doing that. I know Heather loves Sharknado.
Yes, she does.
And I love it for her too. I definitely remember after doing the Joe Bob for Sharknado, I remember loving it even more. It's just dumb fun. That's all you can call it.
And I was the opposite.
You were the opposite. There you go. Again, that's why I love movies. I could think one thing, she thinks another, or she thinks one way, I think another. If we have the same opinion, we're boring as fuck. Damn it, Aaron, don't do what she did. Fall asleep with the Nun 2 last night. Dadgummit. It's better than the first one. So wake up, watch it again.
I still have not tried to finish it.
Well, once it comes out on Max, I'm messaging you immediately. It's on Max.
I thought it already was.
Hey, Destiny, it's on Max.
I think
Damn
it
it.
is.
It is. I just, damn it. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in a rush to try to finish it. I just, most expensive nap. I'm sure Braden's had to pay for it.
That's beautiful, man. So that was it for 88, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. I only have one from 98, and I got a bone to pick with this one because this is I still know what you did last summer, and these horrible, horrible movie ratings. I think that's bullshit because it's not the best movie in the world. By the way, this is on Peacock Premium. I know it shows Peacock on here, but it's on Peacock Premium. It's how you can watch I Know What You Did Last Summer. But yeah, I don't believe in those numbers at all because I thought it was a very successful sequel. It did 2 times everything that the previous movie did, and that's what you're supposed to do in a sequel. I still had a good time with it. Is it better than the original or the first movie? Absolutely not. But I still have a really good time with it. Like, come on, God. It has Jack Black in it, just playing a goofy ass weed character. Like, what's not to have fun with that movie? So, are you on the same page of that? Like, this movie deserves more credit, or do you think it's right where it belongs?
No, I think it's a lot of fun. So I really enjoy it. Like you said, I do not think it's as good as the first one. I love the first I Know You Did Last Summer. And this one, like, logically, does it make a lot of sense? No. And if you really like, like, you can pick holes through it and it falls apart when you like tear it apart. But it's still, I think it's a fun time. If you just ignore all the logistics and how detailed this plan really was, I think it's a fun movie.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
right.
not very well thought out.
No, definitely not well thought out. But I try to avoid that just because, again, I like the setting of being in the Bahamas and it's raining and all that. So it had a lot going for it, but like the execution of some things to it, not the best in the world. So hopefully, when they do get the ball rolling on this requel idea that they're going to do for I Know What You Did Last Summer, definitely, hopefully it will over trump for this particular movie. I Still Know What You Did. So just getting a couple more comments here. Mega said, "Man, I love to hang out with Jack Black. Wouldn't you, vote? Like, I would say that dude is so cool, and we could talk about type of weeds there are. We could talk about peaches. Like, we could talk so many things with Jack Black." And Zodiac says, "I don't feel like I Know What You Did Last Summer holds up very well, but I do like the second better." Oh, very nice, Zodiac. I know a lot of people love the first one. And Ashton says he has a soft spot for I Know What You Did just because it was filmed in North Carolina. So, yes, that's awesome there. And has anyone read the I Know What You Did Last Summer book, which I didn't know there was a book. So, Destiny, did you know that?
Yeah, I know there's a book, but it is different. And I think the writer of the book, the story from the book had either happened to her and like her daughter was killed in like in an accident, or someone she knew, but I think it was her daughter. And so like the author of the book wasn't very happy with like the movie because it
Mm,
changes so much and now it's like about a slasher and like people dying. So like understandably so. I'd also be like upset. When I found that out, I was like, "Oh, that sucks." Because I did not
mm,
know that. And I grew up watching the movie. So I haven't read the book, but I am curious to check it out, even though it's very different. Like it's not at all like what the movie really is. So
mhm.
but I do wanna read it at some point because I am
Yeah.
curious.
And Heather, I'm gonna add that to my audiobook, like kind of like I wouldn't say it's a watch list, but like a listen list because Brad has got me into like to start audiobook listening while I'm at work, and I'm definitely going to add that to my collection of I Know What You Did Last Summer. But Destiny, I think that's the first time I told you that. So, is there a book suggestion you think I should start with for horror?
Trying to think. For horror, Pet Sematary.
Nice. That's see, I wanted
I
to start with Stephen King first, so you read my mind on that one.
I'm, like, newer to, like, reading horror books because like, I grew up reading, but I would, like, I read Twilight, of course. I read, like, The Hunger Games. So I read books like that, like, the popular, like, books at the time. Those are, like, my favorite books to read. And now I'm trying to read more horror stuff, so I'm trying to get into that, but so far, and I haven't read that many books so far, horror-wise, Pet Sematary has been my favorite, and, like, maybe don't listen to that one at work, but I am also very emotional, and because like, it's not that long of a book, and I finished, like, at least, like, the last 100 pages, like, super quickly, but I was, like, reading it on my porch
Mm.
outside, just sobbing, because it is, like obviously, the movie is dark, but reading about it and, like, the descriptions, um Gavin,
Damn
shut
it,
up!
Gavin.
Yeah, and I loved it. But, that's so funny. But
Uh,
Pet Sematary had me bawling my eyes out. It is a very sad, sad book,
mm.
obviously.
Damn it, so you want me to start out with a sad one and no longer do
But it's been, like,
audiobooks?
my favorite one. I mean, I've read Jaws, and I don't recommend reading Jaws.
Damn, I had Jaws
Um,
on my list. Like,
I don't know about that. But, right now I'm reading The Haunting of Hill House.
oh, nice. I forgot those were books.
Yes, it is definitely so different. It's similar, it's not similar to the show. In a way it is, in a lot of ways it's completely different than the series,
Hmm.
which makes sense. It's a small book, it's not very long, and so it makes sense, like, the series with, like, 10 episodes is, like, longer, you know? There's a
Right.
lot more to it, but, the book is, good so far. I need to pick it up. I read, like, over half of it in a couple of days, and then I just put it down because I got busy with, like, my cousin's wedding and stuff like that, so I do need to
Hmm.
finish it, but I am enjoying it so far, but it's just not what I was, like, expecting, but I'm trying to find more books. I did ask for Gerald's Game from my mom for Christmas.
Oh,
I really
nice.
wanna read that.
Is that that's on my list too because I watched the movie, but I heard the book was better. So I'm looking forward to listening to that book here in the future.
I know, I'm
And
excited. I'm so excited. I really wanna read so many of these books, but they're Braden's, and so I don't wanna buy them if I don't have to, but I have to, like, wait to get them because I wanna read The Shining and Doctor Sleep. Like, those are, like, the 2,
mhm.
like, that I really, really wanna read.
That's on the top of my list too, but I will start with Pet Cemetery since you say it's a short book, and I want to start with a short book.
Well, it's, like,
Uh,
300 pages.
so
So it's not
I'm
but it's
I'm not a reader, so luckily I'm doing audiobooks. So
ooh, I see, and I cannot do audiobooks. I like to hold the book, and, like, I can't even read on digital stuff, like,
yeah,
I
you're
can if
you're
it's
my
fan fiction, that's
you are
different, but
my
I want to
brother.
hold a book.
You are indeed my brother because he's exactly the same way. He has to hold it in his hand, or else
Yeah.
it's not worth
It's
reading.
not the same. It just doesn't hit the and I can't listen because I can listen to podcast and I'm fine, but trying to, like, listen to a book, I can't stay, like, focused enough.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. So, like you, but I'm trying to take a break. Uh-oh, Heather, watch out. But
Yeah, I'm
like I'm
good.
trying to take a break from podcasting, so I'm trying to do something different. So I'm gonna give it a try, or at least like listen to a chapter a night. So, but
Yeah.
guys, let us know in the chat if there's any particular books that we should add to our AKA her read list and to my listening list. Let us know because we're always looking.
Yeah, I want to get more books, and I want to stray away from Stephen King because I don't want to just spend like all my time reading Stephen King because I know there's like a lot more, and I want different types of like horror too.
Hmm.
So I'm trying
Remind
to
me to share you
find.
my list that I gathered up because I found a lot of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to read something like really scary. That's
Ooh.
not Stephen King. Like I don't want to read a book that I've seen a movie for. I want something completely different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Only
exactly.
with
Just
no
so by
ties to
like, if it, when they make a movie, you're like, "Ha! I read it."
I was there before it came out. That's like never happened to me. Actually, I take that back. I did read after because it was a Harry Styles fan fiction. I did read that, and those are movies.
Oh,
Fun
nice.
fact.
So, Bacon PP, what's going on, my friend? How are you doing? So, yeah, again, let us know in the comic section or in this chat. And Gavin says Clive Barker's books of the damn it, Clive Barker books of the Bloods, bunch of short stories. So there you go, Destiny. There's one.
Okay, yeah. I also did want to get some Clive Barker stuff as well because I want to read like the Hellbound Heart and stuff like that.
Oh, and Grady Hendrix does horror comedy. So there you go.
Is Grady Hendrix the one, Heather, that did My Best Friend's Exorcism, or is that someone else? Because I do have My Best Friend's Exorcism that I want to read as well.
Oh, really? I
I
just
did get that.
randomly the other night, like I think like 2 weeks ago, like I actually watched a movie. I was that bored, and I thought the movie was fun.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie yet. I do want to. I did buy. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all in on my secret. I bought these two books for White Elephant for my family's gifts, and I was like, I'll just win them back because I want these books. Then I was like, what if I don't get them back? So I have to hurry up and read them.
Hmm.
So no one tell my family if they win the book. I've already read them. So
Or if they're
technically, they are used.
or if they're watching, there you go. But
If someone's
Heather
watching, I'll be
says
like,
the book is so good, 5 out of 5.
okay, awesome. I'm excited to read. As soon as I'm done with Hill House, I'm reading that because it's another short, like super short book. And I love the artwork for it. The artwork for it's freaking awesome.
Hell yeah! So what? So I'll remember to write all these down when I like rewatch this. So Destiny, anything else from '98 or even in '93 that I missed?
93, all I found was Puppet Master 4. Haven't seen it. I've only seen the first two, so I don't really have anything to say.
Okay, and that was it, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and go to 2003, which this will be quick on my side because I have not seen any of these movies. So I will see to get your opinion if you've seen any of them. The first one being Gothica, released on November the 21st of 2003, where you can rent this for $3. According to the scores right here, I feel like that is not well worth the rent. But it does have Halle Berry in it, so you might never know. And then the next movie we have here is the Haunted Mansion. The I would say it's the remake of it, right? Like the first attempt of a remake.
I don't know. This is like the only one I really know of besides the new one that just came out.
Okay, well, I can't remember, but let's just say this is the original until somebody proves me wrong in the chat. So this is the Haunted Mansion that released on November the 26th of 2003 that came out on or is on Disney Plus now. So Destiny, have you seen either of these two movies?
I've seen both as kids though, so I don't really remember anything from either of them. I did watch The Haunted Mansion a lot, like growing up. And then Gothica I'd seen maybe like one time because we owned like the DVD and I liked like the cover for it. So I don't remember like anything from the movie. So
Mhm.
whenever I do watch it again, it'll basically be a first time watch. But I remember watching it as a kid at some point.
Nice. And that was for the Haunted Mansion, correct?
for both of them.
For both of them, okay. Because like I feel like Gothica is such a random one out there. But for the Haunted Mansion, I would think like I could see you like watch this before as a kid.
Yeah, that
Uh,
one I definitely watched, like, quite often, but, like, I don't really remember almost anything from it. I'm sure maybe if I, like, started watching it again, like, I'm like, "Oh, I remember this part," and stuff like that, but
mhm.
just trying to think of it, I can only remember who's in it, I can't necessarily remember anything that actually happens in the movie.
Yeah, and I did watch the newer one in theaters for the Haunted Mansion, and I thought it was a really fun time. So if, I believe that's on Disney Plus now as well, but I wouldn't watch it at this point with Christmas season. So when it comes to the spooky season next year, I suggest you give the newer one a watch, just because I felt like that was a lot of fun. The cast did you could just tell they had so much fun with their characters. And I'm sure Eddie Murphy did too, but according to those particular numbers, they were not the friendliest towards him. So, so if you're going to watch one of the two, I would probably safely assume watch the newer one.
I think I wanna do a double feature because I wanted to watch the
See, that
original
could be a
this
good
year.
one.
I never got around to it, and then, like, the new one came out, never got around to it, so I would like to next year to,
Hmm.
watch some of them because I didn't really get to watch a lot of the kid-friendly, um, like
Movies.
yeah. So next year,
Hmm.
I wanna make sure I do those because I love the kid-friendly Halloween type movies.
Oh yeah, that no, definitely. And so that would be actually a fun double feature now that I'm thinking about it, because I would feel like they will offer like two different things to you.
Mhm.
So that would be a good double feature. So that is pretty much all I have from 2003. I've not seen either of them, so I will try to get to them in the future. Did you have anything else from 2003? Okay. And is Gothica even goth though? Every time I try to type the word Gothica, it always tries to autocorrect me to goth. So if that's any indication to help you on that. Oh, Ben says it's good. Robbie Downey Jr.'s in it. Uh-oh. Robbie Downey Jr. So you gotta watch it now.
Might have just went up on my list, but, like, I like Robert Downey Jr., like, 2010s Robert Downey Jr., like, that
Not
like,
the one where
Iron
he's
Man
all
Robert Downey
crazy.
Jr., but especially, like, Iron Man 2 and on,
Mhm.
that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
behave your behave yourself.
I am.
And Megacat says love it. Eddie Murphy is great. So okay, I will add it to my spooky season for next year. So I will add that to the list. And you said nothing for 2003.
Nope, that was it.
Okay, great. So we'll go ahead and go to 2008. This is again easy for me because I've not seen any of these, so I'm doing a horrible job. But the first one being the Return to Sleepaway Camp, the movie that pretty much yeah, God, my tongue got stuck. It exists in this world, but it's impossible to find. So if you can find it, great. Hopefully you enjoy it. But according to these numbers, people do not like it. And then the next movie we have here, I always hear good things about from the audience perspective, but this is Repo, the generic opera. I'm not the biggest opera person or musical person to begin with, so if you're going to get me on a musical, you have to intrigue me. This one, like poster wise, does not. A movie that we will talk about later absolutely does. So, Destiny, have you seen either of these two movies?
I've seen the kill count for Return to Sleepaway Camp. Like you said, it's very hard to find. I have found, like, a DVD on Etsy for, like, $10, and it's just the DVD, and I was
What?
like,
Oh,
"Should I
damn.
do it?" But I know, like, the movie is not great. So I was like, "I don't know." And then, Repo, the Genetic Opera, I have tried to watch it because I do own it. I have the Blu-ray, and I tried watching it, and I was like, "No,
No. It's
not
just that
happening."
far out there.
It's so yeah, it's so far out there. I'm not very, um, into musicals either, and I didn't
Uh-oh.
like the color palette, the styling. It has Paris Hilton in it, which is pretty cool, and I wanted to watch it because she is in it, but I just it was so and it's, like, body, like, modification stuff, and I
Hmm.
just don't like that kinda thing. Like, I tried,
Oh,
and I was like, maybe today's just not my day to watch it, so I don't know. Maybe I would like to watch it at some point because I just hear great things about it. It's just I
Mhm.
just don't think it's for me, honestly. I'll
Yeah,
give it one
it
more chance though.
Yeah, it doesn't look for me either. Just fly based on like the little trailer I watched for it and the poster. I just feel like it's not for me. But like you said, like the most people seem to like it, so I will just add it to the list. But how far down the list or up the list, I can't tell you because I got so much to continue to watch and catch up on. Heather says I gave my copy of Return to Sleepaway Camp to Uncle Filthy Dan. Well, Dan, ain't he a lucky one? Watched it once and I'm good. Sticking to the original trilogy. Yeah, that's why I always been hearing about that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and it sucks. It's like the same director and like a lot of the same people come back, but it's just not. It's just not very good.
Good. Yeah. And that's all I've heard too. So I'm going to just, again, like Heather said, just stick to the original trilogy for Sleepaway Camp, and you're going to be a happy camper, I promise you. Let's see here. And Gavin says Rebo is fucking weird. If you're not a hardcore emo girl, you probably won't like it. What about emo guy? Would I? No, I'm just kidding. So all right. I think that is it. So that was 2008. Did you have anything else from 2008?
Nope.
All right. So I didn't have anything from 2012 either. So did you have anything from 2000 and, oh, excuse me,
13.
2013? Excuse me.
Yes, I have one movie from 2013, and it is a movie called Contracted,
Okay.
and it is one of the grossest movies I've ever seen. I've only seen it once, and it is like about like catching like sexual diseases, but it turns you like into an infected like zombie almost, and it is so nasty. All I remember is there's something with something going down on someone or fingering someone, and it
No.
they pull out and it's like bloody and pussy and just awful. It's like Cabin Fever 2, Spring Fever, to where it's like there's like a blowjob scene and the person is infected, like their dick is infected and it's like pussy and
Oh my
gross. It's
God.
like that, but the entire
Blech.
movie is like sexual nasty like things. So I would never watch it again. One
And it,
time for me, it's gross.
yeah, I'll go ahead and let you know I will not be watching that just because she pretty much just described the entire movie right there. I'm like, yeah,
And
throw
it
it
like
away.
happens like slowly over time. So like her hair is like falling out, like her teeth are falling out, like it's all like slowly like she's
Ugh,
becoming this like, you know, like zombie
disease.
infected disease person. It's pretty gross.
Yuck. And was that it for 2013?
Yep.
Alrighty, so we are not going to visit 2013 any more times soon after that because, oh my god, I thought my stomach bug was gone. I think Destiny brought it back. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
see.
gross.
Let's see here. If you like musicals, just come out the oh my god, mega. So let's see here. So all right, let's go to 2018. I'm just gonna do two at a time here. The first one being Suspiria, the remake of Suspiria that came out in 2018. It is on Amazon. So if you want to enjoy 3 hours of weirdness, this is the movie for you. Or if you're a fan of the original Suspiria, you might want to give this a try it out. I know Brad and Chris really enjoyed the remake. I have not gotten to the remake yet, but hopefully I will in the future. And then the next movie here, we got Overlord, which this is the movie that Destiny had me watch. It is available to rent for $4 on Prime, YouTube, and Vudu. And my thoughts on Overlord here. I really enjoyed it. I first of all, it kind of starts out as a war movie, which is pretty much that's the main premise of this. It's World War II. It's a war movie, but when you get into it, like, it's like, oh, it's the war, and like, where's the horror stuff? bam, immediately does go into the dive to the horror genre side of things. And I think they did a really great job with it, like with the practical effects look, with the makeup, and just the concept of these particular infected people. It's just a really good time. And I thought the performances were great. I can understand where a certain character or a certain actor didn't get its justice in this movie. So I do apologize for him getting robbed out of this movie. And I'll let you go into detail of who I'm talking about here in a minute. So Overlord, foe, I had a great time with it. I thought it was very good. One I can revisit again in the future. So I give it like a solid 4 out of 5 stars for Overlord. So Destiny, what about you? Have you seen Suspiria and Injustice that happened in Overlord?
I have seen Suspiria one time, and that was whenever I did Suspiria, Hereditary, and Midsummer all in a day. And so I do want to go back and rewatch Suspiria because that I think that was the first one that I had watched. And so I was kind of like almost just like wanting to get through it to get to the other two movies because I really wanted to watch Midsummer. So I want to go back and like take my time and like fully invest in that movie and not like be thinking about something else. It was very long and it's
Yeah.
very dull and like dry and like the color palette's so like it's all grays and there's red though. Like when the red pops out, it's really cool. But like a lot of it's very like dreary, and so it's not a movie I want to go back to all the time. And so that's why I've only seen it that once. But I do remember the ending, and I did. Kevin, I'm gonna
I
fight
know.
you.
Gavin, you're digging your own grave here, buddy.
Anyways, Overlord though, I watched Overlord because it had Joseph Quinn in it. Going into it, luckily I knew that he wasn't in it for very long. I didn't necessarily know it was going to be as like in the opening. So I watched it because I saw Joseph Quinn was in it, and it was a movie that I had heard about before. And so I was like, okay, cool, let me watch this. Watched it. He dies very quickly. He only has a few lines to say. Spoiler, but it happens within like literally the first 5 minutes. Shit is going crazy. And I like it because like what kind of movie it is almost like a surprise because like you said, you're like where like what part of it is like the horror like scary movie part, and then it gets to it. And like the final girl in this movie I think is so underrated. She
Hmm.
kicks so much ass in this movie. She is so good. It has Kurt Russell's son in it. So that's freaking awesome because I was watching it the first time and I was like, wow, that guy looks so familiar. Who is it? And I looked it up and it's Kurt Russell's son, also aka off-brand, great value, Captain
Oh no.
America.
Oh, that dude is Kurt Russell's kid.
Yeah,
I
that's
did
his son.
not know that. Holy shit. Well, my mind just got
So,
blown.
yeah, it has Kurt Russell's son, and he's great in this movie, and I think he's a great actor.
Hmm.
He's gonna be in that pool movie coming out,
Oh, Night Swim
Night
or
Swim, which I
yes,
don't know about
in
all that, but
Blumhouse.
he's gonna be in it. So, and I do like him a lot as an actor. I'm just a little bit salty because he was shitty Captain America, but that's fine. But I think he's wonderful in Overlord, and I think like the villain, and also this movie. Also, I just thought about this. This movie is similar to the first Captain America movie because it
Hmm.
has. If you've never seen the first Captain America movie, it has a lot more Nazis than you might think going into a Marvel movie. And this movie is about like World War II and stuff like that. And so kind of crazy that you have the second Captain America and this one. But I really enjoyed this movie. I think the action sequences are great. I think when the movie kind of turned, it's great because yeah, you're kind of working against two types of like bad guys. One is like human bad guy, and the other one is just like, oh my god, this is so fucked up, like crazy.
Hmm.
But it's a great movie. I definitely recommend people to watch it if you haven't,
Hmm.
because I feel like I don't see it talked about a whole lot. But
Right.
I really enjoyed it.
No, I really enjoyed it too. And another thing I've kind of my mind here too, like I mentioned earlier about like where's the horror in this movie, if and it does go into and it goes to it good. But another thing I just thought about too, in a way, the war movies that's kind of like a of its own within horror itself because a lot of people do fear just the thought of war and everything like that. So that's just something that just popped in my head real quick. So like throughout the entirety, you could technically say it's horror, but when it really gets into it, I think it's really great. And like you, it doesn't get talked about a lot. I'm on the side now where I'm going to make sure this movie gets more credit than it deserves. Even for Joseph Quinn, too, because that I didn't know he was not in it for that long. That kind of like, oh, now I see why she was pissed off about this.
Yeah, he
Uh,
just says a couple things in German.
and that's it.
That's
And God, poor Joseph.
and then he's
So good
gone.
thing. So good thing he's going to have one hell of a 2024. So good for Joseph Quinn on that. And my last question here, I saw somebody Heather said earlier she prefers the original over the remake. Are you the original fan or are you a remake fan? Which one do you prefer?
In this case, I'm gonna say original, even though like I also wasn't the biggest fan of the original because
Hmm.
I feel like it's more visuals than like substance. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
story itself isn't that strong, but the visuals are very striking, and so I feel like that part really outweighs. And then it's completely different in the remake because it's not very colorful. Like I said, you see red, and like that's really it. But
Hmm.
yeah, it just it's very much it's the same, but it's so different. Like it's very, very different and a
Right.
lot longer. So
Yeah, and that's not what I'm not looking forward to is the long part. If anybody knows me, I do not like long movies, but I did promise Brad and Chris I would check out the remake eventually, and maybe early next year I might finally check it out. So with the first Suspiria, I'm like you. It's just to me, it's more color, oohs and ahs than any substance to it. So I'm in agreement with you on that. Still a good movie, but it could have been great if they put an actual good story behind it.
yeah. Oh, and the score obviously is wonderful. Goblin is
Nice.
great. Like that is something you cannot take away from Suspiria. Is the visuals and the colors are beautiful, and the
Hmm.
score is amazing.
Yes.
Everything else, I'm just like, okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
take or
Until the
leave it.
ending. The ending I do like because it like really picks up. Like it really gets crazy. So I do like the
Mhm.
ending. It's just everything before that, you're just like, what the fuck is going? Like, what is happening?
So no, and I definitely agree on that. Like without the ending, I would have been like, well, this is just a big waste of time. So I agree. It's a very good ending. So definitely, we suggest you all to check out the Suspiria remake and Overlord when y'all get the chance. So let's go ahead. I got three more movies here to talk about. So let's go ahead and mention these. The first one being The House That Jack Built, released on November the 28th of 2018. So a couple of days away before its anniversary. You can find this on Hulu and Tubi right now if you're interested, according to these numbers. Good enough where maybe you should at least add it to your watch list. And then the next movie here, The Possession of Hannah Grace. This is available to rent as low as $3.79 on YouTube or Amazon Prime Video. The numbers to me right here do not look that solid, so I would give that a pass. I have not seen either of these two movies, but this one I'm super excited is Anna and the Apocalypse, released on November the 30th of 2018. This is the movie that I had Destiny watch because we do suggest one movie that the ever has not, according to the movies we talk about today. And this is the one I picked for Destiny. And the best thing I can say about this movie is super fun. Definitely the one I'm going to put on for the Christmas season every time of the year. I just think it's fun. It's a musical. So again, like I said earlier, I'm not big on musicals unless if you could do something interesting and just something that gathers my attention. This movie gathers my attention because it does have a little bit of an underrated story into it. And just look at what she's holding there with the whole candy cane knife stick. To me, that's a unique weapon. It's so badass. So I really enjoyed that movie a lot. So Destiny, any thoughts about these or the two movies before it, and your thoughts about Anna and the Apocalypse.
I haven't seen the house that Jack built. I heard it's like really fucking crazy. I haven't seen The Possession of Hannah Grace, even though it does have Shay Mitchell from Pretty Little Liars. I was a big Pretty Little Liars fan growing up.
Yes.
It seems like one of those typical type of like like ghost stories. So like I'm not really, in a rush to watch that. And then in the Apocalypse, I completely forgot this was a musical because I had heard of this. I knew it was like a zombie movie and I knew it was a Christmas one. Completely forgot it was a musical, and then she starts singing and I was like, what the fuck, man? And then I started it last night and I finished the last like 40 minutes this morning. And like last night I was talking to Braden. I was like, I'm not sure how I'm feeling about this. Like the music is really driving me crazy because like I said earlier, I'm not the biggest musical person, even though there's quite a few that I really do enjoy. I love Phantom of the Opera. That is my favorite musical. And so like I didn't care for the musical aspect. And I wished that it would have been more like with the like they're going down pretty easily, especially towards like the end. But I did like all the like characters, and there was a moment that actually did make me tear up. There was a part I was like, oh, that's actually like that's so sad, and I wasn't expecting that from this because I wasn't really
And I know
fully
which one you're
invested
talking
yet.
about too. So,
And so I did. I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy it, and I could see myself watching this, at least once every like December. It was just really the musical part that like really took me out of it. Just because it's like cheesy musical, and that's not. I don't really like that kind of musical. Like I don't know. So besides that, I did enjoy it.
well, that's good. I was glad you enjoyed it because when you mentioned with Reba that you're not a big musical, I'm like, oh shit, she's gonna hate me for Anna the Apocalypse. But I do glad that you did have a good time with it. I'm with you, Fo. They could have done a little less musical and more like zombie and like developing a story because we did have an actual good character in Anna, and I feel like they could have done more with her character. Which the third act is a lot of fun. So I'm glad at least you enjoyed it and you gave it a good score. So
Yeah,
far, I'm continuing my streak.
the third act is really enjoyable. It's just like there's this moment in the movie where she has this something happens and she has this like moment to where you're like, oh, she's about to kick so much ass, and she doesn't. She's like killing off these zombies like very very easily, and I like really thought we're gonna have like this really crazy like blood rage, and it wasn't there, and so I wish it would have done that. And yeah, less musical, but like I did enjoy all the characters. I enjoyed the dad and the daughter. I enjoyed like the other couple. They were probably like my favorite part was the other couple. The main girl looks so much like Victoria Justice from like Victorious,
Doesn't she, though?
and she sings. I was just like I saw her and I was like, I know that's not her. Like I know it's not her, but I kept looking at her. I was like, holy shit, she looks just like her. So that was like a little bit distracting. I was like, holy fuck, that looks so much like Victoria Justice. I cannot get past it, but overall I enjoyed it. It was not, and I've been watching. That's like the third Christmas horror movie that I've watched in the past couple of days.
Oh,
It's
nice.
actually
And
the
we
one
have.
with the highest score, but the one I would put last with rewatching.
Oh, where are the ever two?
Christmas Evil and then Christmas Bloody Christmas.
Oh, absolutely. I got that. I was like on my rewatch, just because I need to remember, like, because I remember having fun with it, and maybe one particular scene in general. But other than that, it was a very solid movie.
Yeah, Braden and I rewatched that one, and then he hadn't seen Christmas Evil.
I still need to watch that one, so I need to try to find that somewhere.
It's on Shudder. He was
Oh,
not the
excellent.
biggest fan. I think it's fine. He gave it 2.5 stars. I gave it 3, so I don't like free. I'm not like saying like I love it, but
But
I think
three's
it's
just like your typical average score and all that.
yeah, and I enjoyed it for like what it is. But yeah, Christmas Bloody Christmas.
Give it a watch, and
There's some
and
parts.
oh yeah, and there's also gonna remind you and Braden because I want you all to watch this next Friday. It's a Wonderful Knife comes out next Friday on Shutter.
Yeah, and
So and
he's
I
filming.
oh yeah,
And he's
that's right,
like,
he
you'll just have
is.
to wait. And I was like, yeah, I'll
Watch,
wait.
watch it.
I can't because I'd be pissed. Even though He did finish Loki without me. To be fair, I fell asleep while we were watching it, but he
Mm.
finished the finale without me, and I still haven't finished it.
Revenge.
That's true.
I'm a bad influence. I'm going to stop it there. I don't want any fights to break out. So, any other thoughts about any of those three movies?
Um, Overlord. Oh wait, I do have another movie actually.
Oh, from 2018.
Yes.
Oh, awesome. And do that, and then I'll address two more people, and then we'll finish it up with the year 2022. So, what movie do you got for us?
So I feel like we probably did talk about this movie already this year, possibly because the film festival date is like obviously earlier than
Hmm.
its Netflix release date, but it is Cam. It was released in Netflix in November of 2018.
Okay.
I very much enjoy Cam. That movie, I watched it, I think it was last year for the first time, maybe the year before that. It actually like scared me. Like there's moments that I was like, holy fuck, this, like I felt unsettled. My body felt like stiff. I was just like, holy shit, that is scary because I wouldn't know what to do if that was me and if I was in
Mhm.
her situation. So Cam, I think, is great. And if you haven't watched it, I definitely recommend it.
Definitely going to add it because this is the second time I've heard about Cam because Brad mentioned Cam to me because I gave him the scratch off poster for 100 horror movies to check out. Cam was one of them. And when he watched it, he said, "Dude, thank you for the poster because never would have found Cam because of it." He really enjoyed it. So definitely adding that to the list.
It's so good. It's about a girl. She's a cam girl, and I believe the director herself was a cam girl. And so like it's coming from like not like it doesn't feel like exploitative and it doesn't feel gross. It feels like realistic from like what this job is. And then one day she logs her account and someone that it looks like her is running her account and she is trying to
Ooh.
figure out like who is doing this. And it's fucking like scary because it feels like that could actually happen, like AI and stuff. Like
Hmm.
we're getting closer and closer to where stuff like this is definitely more plausible. Um, and it was just so like freaky, especially because like we're on the internet and we're doing like imagine you go to a live stream and someone who is you but is not you is live streaming for you and is talking for you and is it reacting in real time to things so you know it's not pre-recorded either. Like this is actually happening. I wouldn't know what to do. I would just cry. That's so scary. So
Well, I
it's
know what I
very,
would
very good.
do. I know what I would do. I would let him keep doing what he's doing, probably because he'll probably A, people will like him more, and B, probably give me more subscribers. So I'll probably just let him do his own thing. And you know what? I'll probably just sit on the couch and just be like, keep
That too.
yeah, but no, I know what you mean, though. Just if somebody to steal your identity like that and just trying to do things and it's not you, that I can imagine, especially kind of like, unfortunately, like the females have to deal with like the whole Instagram shit where like, they copy the
The
profiles and all
OnlyFans,
that.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
happened to me a few
that's just a
times.
shit deal. Yeah, so
And
I'm
it
so
is like it does almost feel like that because it's happened to me a few times where someone makes a fake account and then they're promoting like Fansly or OnlyFans and they're using your face, but that is not you. And like I've clicked on these people's before because most of the time they'll block you, so you can't
mhm.
go to their account. But I have 3 or like 4 different Instagram accounts, so like I can check regardless. And one of them was posting like someone's butt, but they're using it as my pictures, and I'm like, "Oh my god, they're gonna think like they are gonna think like that is me." If they don't know who I am, that butt is not my butt because that is my face. And so it
Mhm.
does feel like that, like someone is selling sex based off of you, but that's not you. And like
Right.
that is just so I don't know, every like when it happens, it feels very weird. Like it feels
Well,
very like
more than anything,
gross.
like obviously I'm not a girl, but the one where I would think immediately is just violated, and
Yeah,
that's
it does feel
like,
like violating because you're also and especially because like, they're taking my pictures where I'm in the shower and it's bloody and, like, where they are more
mhm,
leaning into that side of things, and so it's then easier to sell that that is me because now look at my pictures, and
mhm,
so it's very yeah, it's very, like, you do feel violated. You feel very just, like, gross. Like, every time it
yeah.
happens, it makes me feel Like, I don't know. Like, I want to take a
Yeah.
shower and delete my
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah. And so everybody in the chat, don't fucking do it. That's all I gotta say. Don't fucking do it. You'll be a terrible person.
Yeah,
And
don't do that. And
just
if I ever
and
have an account, I will promote it myself on my account.
exactly. And
Not
it
online.
also pulls off Scream too, where it's like, oh, it's okay. It's just Gail Weaver's naked body. No, they put me on top of Jennifer Aniston. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like the same thing. You're like, what the fuck? That's not me.
yeah, like come on, like Ashley looks better, but no, but that's still not me. But yeah,
It's not me.
so it's just a terrible situation. But regardless, still check out Cam. I'm definitely going to add Cam to the watch list. And was that it for 2018? Awesome. And before we continue to the final year, I want to say some hellos real quick. Rosie, my dear, I apologize. That is the longest I've ever gone without saying hi to your beautiful face. So here is your rose, my dear. I'm so sorry about that. I love that you're here. Love that everybody's here. We had 21 people at the most being here today, and that is awesome. We are very thankful for you all. And then, of course, don't want to lose that. Let's see here. There it is. $2 super chat from Cody Snyder. Cody, thank you so much. I know you say you couldn't be here for long, but thank you for tuning in anyway. Digging the shirts and the new WHP podcast today. Yes, the special episode reviewing Survivor Series is on that YouTube channel and on Spotify and Apple Pod, wherever you listen to podcasts. And let me know how bad I did. And then for the $2 super chat, let's do this one.
Investors. Where do we find investors?
Right there.
Oh, hello, Belchers. Just having one of our money fights.
Just having one of our money fights. So Cody Snyder, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. All right, and then let's check the chat here. Nope. And thank you, Rosie, my dear. Mwah. So let's go ahead and go into the very last year here, and that's the year of 2022, where we celebrate the horror movies that came out last year. And there's only 3 big ones that came out, so we are going to address them. We're going to address the 2 least popular ones first, and then we're going to save the best one for dessert, and you'll get that reference here in a minute. So the first one being, it's a Netflix movie called The Wonder, released on Netflix on November the 16th of last year, and this has Florence Pugh in it. So that already gets me interested in this movie. I have not seen it, but anything with Florence in it, I'm definitely going to watch it. And then the other movie we have here as well is Bones and All. This is a little bit of a horror movie romance type movie, which that's not very common. You see a type of genre movie mixing between each other like this one, but this is Bones and All, and good scores all around. So if you're interested, it is on Prime Video. So Desi, have you heard about any of these 2 movies?
I have not seen Bones and All. I really want to, though. It's on Amazon Prime now. And so that's on my watch list. It is a little bit of a longer movie, so I have to kind of like find the time for it. But I've heard it's great. And I love horror movies, obviously. And I love romance movies, though. So mixing them together like that, I feel like it's a movie I would really enjoy. And then the other one, the first one, I have not seen. Really
Any interest since it does have Florence Pugh in it?
I guess.
Oh, wait a minute. Are we not holding a grudge against her since Oppenheimer?
What are you talking about?
Anyways, moving on to the next one here. No, I'm just messing. But no, any interest in it though?
No.
I'm gonna take that as a no with that look. So I better be careful what I say next. So we're gonna go ahead and go into the last one here. Save the best for last, the dessert or the cheeseburger. So we are talking about the menu that came out last year, November the 18th of 2022. And you can see all these numbers are absolutely fantastic. And you can watch this on both Max and Hulu right now. Highly suggest you all watch this movie. I was just super impressed with this movie because my mother and brother are big like food, like TV competition show watchers. So I even suggested to Dan to watch this movie, and my brother really liked this movie just because it was making fun of, like, shortly making fun of all the stuff that, like, if you're a fan of watching food shows and like how they describe dishes and all that, you're totally going to understand them. But once it gets to the horror things, or when things start to like shit hits the fan, this movie is nothing but a hell of a ride. And of course, the three people you see on the poster here, let me put them up again: Ralph Fiennes, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Nicholas Hoult. All three of them were absolutely fantastic in their roles, and of course, and Anya Taylor-Joy is a joy to watch. But I just loved everything about this movie. This movie needs more recognition, needs to be talked about more, and more than anything else in the world. That was the sexiest cheeseburger I've ever seen in my entire life, and I want nothing more but to eat that cheeseburger. So I'm jealous about that. So, what about you, Destiny? What did you think about the menu?
I really enjoyed it. Going into it, I remember not even seeing a trailer for it, so I had no idea really what it was about or anything, like watching it. And I like the way that like, the story unravels and how we like learn more about each character through like each course. The only thing, unfortunately, going into it,
Each course.
I knew that one course takes a very crazy direction, so I knew something was coming during a certain one. And that was, like, a little bit unfortunate because I was, like, waiting for this moment to happen, for, like, it to turn. But, I really enjoyed it because I too love, like, those cooking shows. Like, I love anything Gordon Ramsay. I love watching his shows. I like
Yes.
watching Chopped. I like watching even, holiday certain ones, like the Halloween Bake Off ones. Cupcake Wars, that was another one I loved growing up, and so this was, right up my alley, and I work in the food industry as well, and so even though it is fast food, it's far different than anything they do, but working in, like, that sort of industry, it was interesting watching from that perspective, being, like, on the other side of it, the ones that are serving and not being served, and I was there's, like, a little bit of, like, retribution in the end. I was like, "I feel them," and I remember I DoorDashed Taco Bell, and I was eating my Taco Bell while watching this movie about all this fancy food, and then she's eating that cheeseburger in the end, and I'm eating my Taco Bell because it's, like, towards the end of the movie when I was, like, ordering it and getting it, and I was like, "Wow, this really feels like I'm saying something here," you know? Like, it felt like something while I was eating this shitty Taco Bell that I fucking love, and they're eating all this fancy food, and she eats this cheeseburger, and it's such, like, an important moment for him, and it really does mean something, and I was just like, "Wow, this feels pretty crazy," and that burger did look good. It did make me really want a burger, like, really want a burger, and I really enjoyed it. Nicholas Hoult, he's great and everything. You fucking hate him in this movie because he is
Bad,
such,
like hate
like
him bad.
he's just plays this type of guy, like, so well, painfully well, to where I was, like, watching it and I was like, "Hmm, I wanna fucking hate you. I hate you so much." But, everyone's so great in this movie. Each course is so interesting. The ending I thought was wonderful, and it's very funny too. It's not really like a horror movie. It's more of like a thriller, and there's, like, comedy throughout. Like, it's not very, like, scary, obviously, but, it's interesting nonetheless, and it was a standout, like, because it was just so different than really anything I've seen before like this, so I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, and remember well, I know you say you didn't watch the trailer, but this was the trailer, so it's not really spoiler like. But as you know, all the chaos happens. They actually bring this table of birthday cake out, going "Happy birthday," and the guy goes, "Did you all order me a birthday cake? It's not my birthday." We figure it'd be funny at the time, but and then of course you had the everyone, but they're all outside. It's like you all got the count of three to run. Yeah, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. No, we're not gonna be okay. Like, it's just like you said, like, it has a lot of dark humor into it. And you're right, it is more of a thriller than it is a horror movie. But like I always said, thriller and horror movies go hand to hand. It's just which, like, on the scale, do you want to be like 80% thriller and 20% horror, and vice versa? So I would say this movie is definitely like more on the 80% of thriller and 20% horror. I would probably say it's been a while, but I definitely want to rewatch this movie. But this movie was so fantastic. I recommend everybody watching it. And afterwards, get you a nice, big, juicy cheeseburger at any restaurant to your heart's desire.
Mm-hmm. You definitely want it. You're going to want a burger.
Yeah, and Megan says, if you ever worked in the food industry, you would never eat out again. Is that any truth to that?
I eat at Taco Bell all the time.
Yeah, I was like, Taco Bell is life, Mega Cat. So.
Oh, I got Five Guys the other day. It was so good.
Ooh, what'd you get at Five Guys?
Their veggie, like cheese, like sandwich. So it has like
the grilled cheese with the vegetables. Nice.
Yeah, that, and then their Cajun fries.
Oh, the best fries of all. One of the best fries of all time.
Those are my freaking favorite. They're so good.
So damn good. Even though I had my last experience with Five Guys never makes me want to eat at Five Guys again because their customer service absolutely sucked. And it was embarrassing.
Well, I DoorDash mine.
Lucky. So, that might be the secret to order Five Guys again if somebody else goes for me. So,
yeah, honestly, and I spent less money than I did on my Five Guys order than I do on my Taco Bell order.
Ooh, that's very shocking because you know how expensive it is.
It was crazy. Yeah, definitely worth it though.
Gavin says Taco Bell is the same as going in a dumpster and slurping. Okay, dude, no.
You're a hater.
Dude, don't hate on the talk. Don't hate on the bell.
You're a tattletale rat.
So before things get more uglier than those courses did in the menu, any other thoughts about the menu, or did you have any other movie from the year 2022?
Nope, I didn't have anything else.
All right. What the hell? Oh, I was wondering what that was, but yeah. So awesome. So that is going to be it. So let's go ahead and do a quick recap of the best and the worst of this episode when it comes to the terms of the movies. So let's go with the worst here. With the Rotten Tomato critics saying "Stay away," for "I still know what you did," and then everything else goes to the Return to Sleepaway Camp. I do agree with all of this. And then let's go ahead and go to the best that we talked about today. And it is mostly dominated by The Invisible Man from 33. And of course, with a tiebreaker of They Live on Letterboxd with a 3.8. So definitely check these two movies out. And Destiny, I know we've been doing this lately. Any movies you like, we kind of been doing it as we're going along, but just as a recap real quick, any movies that our viewers and listeners should be checking out, like maybe 2 or 3 ones that they should be tuning into.
Definitely Sleepaway Camp if you haven't seen that one. And then besides that, I would say Overlord and then Cam.
Shit. Sorry, someone called me out for September over November. Fuck. So sorry, repeat that again. I was just identifying my fuck up.
Sleepaway Camp, Cam, Overlord.
And I could not agree more with that. So those are great. So definitely, I would say Overlord, most definitely. Sleepaway Camp, absolutely. And I will even throw out the menu too, because I still don't feel like enough people have seen the menu. So I will definitely throw out the menu there as well. And we'll get Gavin's too with Torso. So there we go. So that is going to do it. We are going to return for our last episode of the year for December the 17th at 12 o'clock Eastern time is when we will be back to do the last episode of this particular season. And then we will focus our attention to the next following year. So Destiny, anything else to say or anything coming up on the channel for you?
I'm sure Fear Freaks will be next week.
All right. And we'll
don't know what yet.
Don't know what yet. So be sure to follow all their social media accounts so you all can stay updated to what's coming up on Fear Freaks. Good Rule Hunting side of things. We have no clue yet. So follow our social medias as well so y'all know what we're going to do next. We are working on a particular tournament for December, but we're not ready to announce it just yet. But it is coming very, very soon, along with the Real Horde Awards news, how you all can get involved and help and make the best show possible. So with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. We appreciate you all so much for hanging out with us, and we will see you for the last episode of this year next month. So see you then.